Where do I even begin? Where do I start this today? How do I kick this off? Because you're catching me now, and I've been up for a long time. But where do I fit? Where do I take you? Where are we going to be talking about? I want to throw a lot of stuff at you, so get ready for this. Get ready, sit back, and listen to what I'm saying. This is very critical. Now, this is a unique opportunity that we have. First of all, I welcome you. I thank you. I thank you for your support. Thank you for you being here. We have something, a show right now. What I'm telling you can appear nowhere because 90% of the people, I'm sorry to say, television audiences will not understand it. They will not understand it. Not that what I'm saying is difficult to understand. My approach is different. My angle is different. What I want to talk about is different. This is not a podcast where I sit and react to what's in the news. Oh, here's the thing. Look what happened. Let's talk about Tucker, Don Lemon. Carmelita Harris said something stupid. Let's jump on that. Let's milk it. Let's talk about how great Trump is for the millionth time. It's a reaction to what's going on. And you're missing the point completely. Let me start off by telling you an email I got. I couldn't believe this. I wanted to call you up. I didn't have your number. I was going to call you and say, listen to this. What do you think about this? I was going to forward this to you, but I didn't know where to go. I am not friends with Tucker Carlson. I don't hate him. I don't like him. Frankly, I don't care about him. He doesn't care about me. He doesn't care about you. I think he is, in many respects, a foppish, elitist, know-it-all, and one of the most talented people anybody has ever seen, and one of the most foolish and one of the most brilliant. Brilliance has nothing to do with a lack of judgment. He thought he could say anything. He missed the point. And he hires people around him. It's his underlings. You're going to find out that sometimes it's the little things that you don't seize upon. The auxiliary, what am I trying to say? The producers and the like. You've got a very angry, very hurt, I don't want to use the word vindictive because vindictive makes it sound like there's no basis for this. But you've got something that you don't understand. But because of the Tucker Carlson acolytes, I forgot to tell you. So I got this email that says, I thought you liked him. Why are you saying this? I thought, what child writes this to me? What simpleton, what juvenescent, puerile, sophomoric baby writes this? That's our very love him. I said, oh my God, this is what's wrong with our country. You're missing the point. You're making this personal. Same thing with Trump. In 2020, I told you he's going to lose this. And many people think, well, it wasn't his fault. Oh, yes, it was. There was a lot that was his fault. Don't say that. You're going to have to give back your MAGA hat or whatever it is. This is where people think. They get personal. They react to things. It's personal. We love him. We hate him. It's love and hate. Don Lemon we laugh at. Tucker Carlson is the greatest thing that ever happened to us. Tucker Carlson doesn't need you, care about you. Don't look at him as a person. Look at him as the issue. What is this about? And it's fascinating. The subsidiary issues behind this, the ancillary issues, the corollary issues. This is what I love. But nobody wants to talk about that. It's these silly things. It's about, if I hear one more person say, well, I was blindsided. You're missing the point. Here is the message. This was not a conspiracy, and let's please come up with a new word. A conspiracy is a secret, clandestine, dark, evil, quasi-criminal confederation of two or more people working in concert to bring something about. When people in the Fox News world fear that their bottom line is being affected by anybody, when Lachlan and Rupert get together, it's not a conspiracy. They're not conspiring. They're saying, we're running the show, and this guy's a problem. And we're going to get rid of this guy. And you can say, well, that's because of the deep state, the police state, the intel state, the shadow government. Oh, that you're entitled to that opinion. Or I'm thinking, no, that's not it. Why do I say that? Because he's been saying this forever. What are you talking about? I don't understand this. Remember when Ellsberg was made to be, Daniel Ellsberg. Daniel Ellsberg was the greatest thing. Daniel Ellsberg was so incredible. Daniel, did you see what he did, the Pentagon Papers? It's a rehash. They knew this. I keep getting pollen alerts. What am I supposed to do with the pollen? Rain, I just have to tell you this. I can, prepare, but pollen, what am I supposed to do? In any event, okay. This is the part that is just so, and I want to train you in this. I want to train you. I want to bring you in and sit you down and say, we're going to look at this thing differently. Stop reacting to things and think about them. What do they mean? What does this mean? Let me tell you what is going to be the biggest problem. I predict, like you, I'm not privy to this. I'm not in the C-suite of Fox News. I don't understand this. I'm not there. Watch the Ray Epps litigation start up. Watch this. That's number one. Watch this this continuing litigation from the producer alleging sexism and anti-Semitism and all that. That's that. Number three, watch the shareholder derivative lawsuit, which is occurring right now, which is the most important news of them all. That's number three. 4, the $787 million Dominion suit, which wasn't even fought. You went that far? What are you settling now for? Have a couple of days of testimony. Here's my question. Okay, Dominion, verify your. Let me hear your damage valuation again. You're worth what, 80 million, and you won how much? How do you figure this out? Let me stop right there. Have you ever figured out, you've got to do this, a personal injury settlement? This is the most brutal thing you have ever seen. A little timeout. Let me just give you an idea here. I've been practicing law for 40 years. And it's not what you think. And one of the most fascinating areas is personal injury, where you have been hurt due to either the intentional or the accidental negligence of somebody else, through a product, through bad driving, somebody hurt you, somebody was negligent, somebody looked the other way. Okay. And you have to say, all right, there's liability here. What do you want? What do you want? Not what's this worth, because that's never a question. What do you want? What do you want from this? A lot of times it's like this. Okay, we got a policy. It's an accident. This guy didn't have money. He's got an insurance policy. What do you want? Terms. I'll take the maximum limits. Term limits. Okay, not term limits, but the limits of the policy. Okay, fine. That's okay. Because by the time we get into the... let's go to somebody else. Let's say you were hurt. Who are you? Who am I? I broke my wrist. Who am I? I'm Yo-Yo Ma. What? Oh my God. Oh my God. You broke a wrist? Yeah, and I can't do this anymore. I can't. Oh my God. Yo-Yo Ma. Oh my God. How long is he going to live? What's his future? His income potential? The loss? What? Oh my God. Okay, same injury. 93-year-old grandma. Grandma Effie. Same injury. What does she get? What? Well, it could make her life shorter. She's 93 years old. What do you mean it's 93? She's my grandma. I don't care what it is. It's brutal. What does she do? Nothing. What, she won't be able to knit? This is the valuation. It's brutal. It's brutal. Anytime you try to put a dollar figure to something, what is it worth? Well, you can look at other cases. You can look at similar cases in the in the district and others. Well, I know of a guy who was. They have the verdict reporter. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes you see brain damaged babies. These are the worst. Brain damage for the rest of their life. When the parents, and it's a parent's nightmare. Seriously, among other nightmares, but this is it. What happens to me when I'm gone? What happened? The numbers are off the charts. But that has to do with damages, not the mistake. The mistake could have been slight, but it was negligence. And in the case of medical negligence, if it traverses, if it exceeds that which is normally accepted within the realm of medical certainty, that's negligence, period. Now, go back to Dominion. You want 1.6 billion? Wait a minute, what? They didn't even... Okay. Let's go back again. Shareholder derivative lawsuit towards Fox. Multiples. Big investors say, what are you doing? This is against the board of directors. What are you doing? Why did you let this happen? Why did you let this happen? It wasn't just Tucker. It was Judge Janine and this one and that one and this. What are you doing? Do you not understand what's going on here? Well, it's a story. I don't care. We're shareholders. What are you doing? Number two, don't be surprised. I forget my numbers. I give like 2 numbers and I stop serializing them. You know and I know that there's a very good chance, if not guaranteed, that Rupert's going to sell this thing. Rupert's going to say, I don't want this anymore. It's a different time. I'm a gazillionaire. We don't want this. It's a mess. The name Fox News. Oh, God. Lackland and what's his name and their wives, they are so embarrassed by this. It's one thing after another. Oh, you love it. You think it's terrific. We don't. And it's losing. And they're gunning for us. And they're gunning for us. Because why? Because I've been settling. Do you know how many sexual harassment those cases? Dear God. What is with these people? And it may have nothing to do with Tucker. Tucker could be the last little thing that twisted, that shifted the momentum, whatever it is. But people that I know, oh no, that's not it. It's because he went after big pharma. Are you kidding me? He's been doing that. Everybody's going after big. That's not it. Oh yes, it is. No, it's not. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about because you're living it. Not you. Please, when I say you, it's the royal you. They're living in La La Land. See, they're not conspiracy theorists. They believe in skullduggery and evil forces and black magic and black ops and black false flags and I mean, everything. Nothing is ever what it seems. It's always something beyond that. That's why I've got to tell you something. We've got to focus in on this. If you hang around these people, leave them. Life is not a podcast. Podcasting, some are good, but some are just ridiculous. It's just these people just thinking stuff that have nothing to do with reality. And because the numbers go up, they will continue with this. Now, let me explain something to you. I'm also seeing this now, especially with more and more vaccine discussion. You're a little late with this. Bobby Kennedy Jr. is running. Chapter 2. Does Bobby Kennedy Jr. pose any kind of serious threat to Joe Biden? Does he? Yes. Why do I say that? Poll numbers. History. Look at what happens. He's at 14%? He just started? Do you understand this? Why do you think he's doing that? Well, obviously because of his vaccine work. Really? You sure about that? I got news for you, Sparky. A lot of people are like, well, but most people are absolutely at home with the notion of immunology and immunization and epidemiology and virology and all of this stuff. They have no problem with this. There are more people in the world who wear masks and like it and don't particularly care for him. A lot of people don't like what he's doing. And this may come as a shock to you. What are you talking about? Yes, because you don't know how to read the room. They don't know how to read the room. They don't. But what is it then? It's a Kennedy. That's one thing. Number two, they like him. Number three, they don't like Biden. Watch what happens. Next question. Do you think Biden is going to make it to 2024? Now let's think about this. Before you react, which is what they do, not you, they react. Ask yourself, question number one. He announces with Kamala Harris, right? They're going to run. Do you think he is going to make it to the through the election? Do you think so? Is that viable? Is that if he steps down after he's elected, if he's elected, do you think that the Democratic strategists, money people, donors, rank and file, deep state, whatever you want to call these people, do you think they have no problem with Kamala Harris? Now, before you answer that, ask yourself, do you really think Joe Biden is one thing because he's Joe Biden? Joe Biden has been around. Joe Biden is the name. Biden. Yes, he may not be, he may have lost his fastball, to be kind, but that's a different story. Now, do you think it would be different in the case of Kamala Harris? Yes, very much so. So, the question is, do you think that when they announced it, they're really serious before November of 2024? Do you think, or do you think they're ready for a change? I think so. Absolutely. In my opinion, it's going to be Gavin Newsom. It makes the most sense. Why? Because the people who run both parties, number one, are the money folks, the fundraisers, the donors, the lifeblood of the party. They run the show. That's number one. Number two, you and I can talk about what will happen to the world if Joe Biden is either reelected or if Kamala Harris succeeds by virtue of the 22nd Amendment or whatever to this. That's number one. Second point. The next is Gavin Newsom would be perfect. Gavin Newsom. Now, let me stop right there. Am I endorsing Gavin Newsom? No. Do I like Gavin Newsom? I don't like anybody. It's nothing to do with it. This is realpolitik. This is politics. He is serious. You underestimate him to your peril. He is deadly. Deadly. Listen to what I'm telling you. This is not somebody to be trifled with. This is not somebody to play around with. He is serious about this. He's looks, youth, camera ready, ready to go. Knows the routine, knows everything. He's not going to be making some ridiculous faux pas, some Harris moment of, non sequitur lunacy. No way. No. Well, we'll see that. Next, you've also got this notion of the Republican Party. And right now, you've got to ask yourself, what is that looking like? It looks exceedingly likely that as of today, and this is very early, it looks like it's going to be Donald Trump for the nomination. Do you think the country is ready for this? Do you think that's true? I'm not asking what you like. I'm not asking what you think. I'm not asking what you think. If I were Gavin Newsom and he were running in 2024 and it's Trump, I would say, my friends, we can't go through this again. That's it. That would be his thing. We can't go through this again. And people would say, you know what, he's right. Trump said, to his credit, when he ran, what do you got to lose? What do you have to lose? Gavin Newsom will say, what do you have to lose? If you go through this again with him, through us, I can't take 4 years of this. Family separated, but whatever. Now, let me stop. They take this personally. Well, I don't think that. I don't ask you. If you're McDonald's and you find out that Burger King has a new campaign ad that you disagree with, what difference does it make? Well, that's not right. They say their fries are better. No. Consistently, McDonald's fries are better than Burger King. They're wrong. That's wrong. Nobody's going to believe this. Excuse me, you don't know how this thing works. That's an ad. Yeah, but that's not true. Yes, it is true. To them it is. Missing the point. What are you going to do? I don't know, because most people just, this political observation, it's like a fan club. We just love him. We just love what's going on. We love Tucker. We don't like Don Lemon, or vice versa. You notice, by the way, how the left, and I use these terms out of just shorthand. You notice how nobody's even talking about his leaving CNN? Nothing. He'll end up on News Nation, if you can find it, and that's going to be like, the refugee network, and that's where he's going to go. It'll be fine, and nobody, that, because that model is still, it's just sputtering to a stop. Now, let me start off where I left off. Start off where I left off. I like that. You have got to learn, now I'm talking to you now, that your views of life mean nothing. What you think is important, what you think means nothing other than to you. What you think. You have to sit back and say, how is this working? The majority of what I'm seeing, and the majority of what I hear from everybody is a reaction. Not an analysis, a reaction. What do I mean by this? I am fascinated by disease. I'm fascinated by doctors. I listened yesterday to a lecture. It was a medical, like a certification. It was designed for doctors who were trying to get their accreditation on lung cancer. I was mesmerized by the complexity. I obviously didn't know what they were talking, but it didn't matter. I was listening. Ladies and gentlemen, chaotic anarchy, sip of tea for the working man. Thank you so very much. That, of course, is a hand crepitation for you. I'm a manualist, and that's what you get. Chaotic, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You are too kind. Let's ask yourself this question. as I was saying, I'm listening to this. It was brilliant. You get this, you get the small cell, the large cell, the squamous, the bronchial, the this, innervation. It was beautiful. Very cool, very calm. This is what that same lecture would sound like if given by most people on today's social media and podcasting. Oh no! Or, it's nothing. Don't worry about that. I've known people who were ill. That's it. Just reaction. No analysis, reaction. Okay? Going to a doctor. Doc, what does this mean? I got this x-ray. They found a spot on my lung. Oh, no. Okay, yeah, I know that. Thank you. But what do we do? What do we do? Surgery? Oh, my God. Yes, thank you very much for that. That's where we are. We react to this. That's it. We can't break ourselves away from what's happening and evaluate it coldly, calmly, strategically. We can't do it. We can't do this. Can't. There's this missing the point completely. How is it that the undecided, remember, this goes for both sides, Democrats and Republicans, you've got three different positions. The people who hate your guy and aren't going to change, the people who love your guy and aren't going to change, or gal, depends. And then that middle ground. That middle ground. The independents, undecided, swing voters. What are you going to tell them? What do you do? Raul Rodriguez, ladies and gentlemen, that's for you, Raul. And I mean that sincerely. That was a special one. Thank you. Thank you for your super chat kindness. Thank you. What do we do? How do we get them? Rule number one. Look what Joe Biden is saying. Look what he is saying. What is he saying? What is he pushing? And he's got some smart people behind him. What is it? January 6th? Abortion rights? What? What do you say? Oh, January 6th. Oh, come on. That doesn't matter. You're missing the point. I'm not asking you what you thought of January 6th. I'm not asking you whether you agree with it, don't agree with it, whether you thought it was an insurrection. Oh, it's nothing. I've got a friend of mine. He's a wonderful man. Does a radio talk show in the country. And he thinks that because he doesn't think anything of it, oh, come on. There's no insurrection. Not one person was charged with insurrection. I'm thinking, I told him, I said, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. That's not what people think. That's not what they think. That's what you think. You're missing the point. No, it doesn't matter. He's very popular because people who are Republicans love him because he tells them it's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. What do you mean don't worry about it? Don't worry. No, start worrying about it. Oh, no. Next chapter. The E. Jean Carroll case is going to be huge. Trump is not going to show up. He's not going to be there. He's indicated he's going to waive his appearance. He's not there. Now, in a criminal case, you can certainly waive your appearance, and the judge even instructs you. You are not to in any way imply that he is guilty or not guilty because he's not there. But in a civil case, you get the instruction that's the opposite. Oh, yeah, you can imply. You can imply, infer. Oh, yeah. And you've got Joe Tacopina, who's going to be handling basically what is a sexual battery case, sexual assault with two other women, and here in federal court in New York, and the Access Hollywood tapes, and oh my God, why is that important? Who is the person they always talk about? I think it was Kellyanne Conway who talked about it. I think others. Who? the suburban female woman voter. The used to call them the soccer moms, but the suburban, they love to say that, female voter. How is she going to feel when she hears the words of this? When she hears a testimony of, get this, these are the facts. Whether you like these facts or not, it's up to you. I can't help that. These are the facts. They're going to hear that this was originally filed as a defamation case, where E. Jean Carroll said she was attacked or assaulted in the dressing room of a Bergdorf Goodman here in New York. And Trump says something like, you know what, she's not even my type, or something like that. She's a liar. I think he said she's not my type or something like that. When shown a picture, listen to this, when shown a picture of E. Jean Carroll standing with him and others, he allegedly, unless we have a misunderstanding, mistook her for Marla Maples or an ex-wife or something. The man who says, she's not my type, he thought was his wife, who I think by definition is his type. That's number one. Let women hear this. Let women hear. He said, what? She's not my type? So if she was your type, this might be true. You're not saying, I've never attacked a woman in my life. I would never do that. No. Now, are they going to hear that? You tell me. If I'm the plaintiff's lawyer, that's what I'm going to say. Meanwhile, there's no Trump there. Nobody. And wait till you hear that. Oh. Now, remember, I'm not talking about the money, or it's not a criminal case. There's no jail involved. I'm talking about what happens when this gets out. And they jump on it and seize on it, and oh my God. And they've tried everything to say, well, where's E. Jean Carroll? Who's funding this? Is some billionaire? What difference does it make? Good. Then you hear two other women, that's exactly what he did to me. That's his MO. That's the key. He did the same thing to me. Then you got the Access Hollywood. See, nobody's thinking about this. And I hope to God, you're going to need somebody who is going to know how to treat the patient when some things are inoperable. You're going to try to go after her in cross-examination? Really? You're going to cross-examine a victim of a sexual battery? And you're going to say, well, she wasn't. Really? You're going to do that, huh? Do you have any idea what you're talking about? Wait till the jury listens to it. Just wait until the jury sees what you're doing. And you're going to do this? Joe Tacopina, not exactly the smoothest guy in the world. I hope he would get somebody else. You probably wouldn't even want to ask her anything. What are you going to do? Break her story? Unless she's absolutely made some drastic errors as to identification of Trump, which I don't think is going to happen. No, people don't. Now, my friend would say, she's crazy. You're not listening, are you? You're not listening, are you? That's like if somebody says, hey, this friend of mine's got lung cancer. Oh, I had a friend with lung cancer. He's fine. Are they the same type? I don't know. That's where a lot of our podcasting folks are. That's where we are. And by the way, not to be fair, to be unkind, it's on cable news as well. They view things through their own mind. They view things through this. Sometimes we see it. We see it regarding American exceptionalism. We say, "Oh, China wouldn't do that. They wouldn't try that with us." What decade are you living in? This is the thing which is the most important. This is critical. Now, let me ask you something. Hypothetically, we have a Democratic. Let's assume, and you can take either way. You can either, in this hypothetical, you can either consult with, advise the Democrats or Joe Biden or the Republicans. Which one would I like? Well, I have the lawyer in me, and I love the challenge, and I love the better position. I like when somebody's saying, I wish I could be arguing this. This is a good one. or sometimes maybe the challenge. Maybe the challenge. I've always liked lawyers who, Racehorse Haynes and others who take the position, who defend some of the most. I mean, I've had, court-appointed clients before that were just, there's no way, there's nothing. And that gave a lot of leeway because you can at least say, well, let's try this. Always legally, never lying, never whatever it is. But what would you tell Joe Biden? What would be this? And this is where this is where the rubber hits the road. This separates the men from the boys, the girls from the gals, or whatever the phrase is appropriate today. What would you advise Joe Biden? What would you do? What would you do to the Democrats? What would be their issues? First and foremost, you learn exactly what they're saying. What are they saying? They're talking about the January 6th. Whenever you have a name, 9/11, January 6th, July 4th, Cinco de Mayo, whenever you have a date associated with an event, that's serious. January 6th, you don't even have to say anything anymore. In fact, that's also very deadly because when you say January 6th, people in their own mind will evaluate what it is. They will, in their own minds, think of whatever they thought before. You let their version of it come into play. What are they going to say? You're going to tell them that this was a moment in which our country could have fallen. That there were people out there, people who were themselves actually happy and proud of what amounted to this moment of insurrection, whether it was charged or not, a sedition, revolution, our beloved capital, and there they were. Now, stop for a second. I don't care if you agree with it or do agree with it. It doesn't matter. What I'm talking about in terms of an election, that's it. It's like when you do a picture. Sometimes if you're Martin Scorsese or one of these people, you could say, and I know for a fact I had some kind of a, shall I say, a little bit of a remote connection with some of the more involved players in the Goodfellas case, the Jimmy Burke crew and Henry Hill. And what I was told had nothing to do with what the movie Goodfellas, Pileggi or Scorsese notwithstanding. They had nothing to do with that. But Pileggi would tell you, and Scorsese in particular would tell you, do you want a good movie or do you want a documentary? What do you want? What am I trying to get? I'm trying to get a movie. Just as an aside, do you know the original Tommy DeSimone? Not Tommy DeVito or whatever his name is. Tommy DeSimone. Do you know Two Gun Tommy or whatever? This guy's like 6'3", 6'2", complete psychopath. I mean, just looks nothing in any way like Joe Pesci. Not in any way. Jimmy Burke compared to Robert De Niro is Robert De Niro, whatever it is. Whatever the role is, he's Robert De Niro. The great actor is Robert De Niro. Same voice, same, downtown New York, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. When he was in, what was it, The Mission or whatever it was, hey, give me the cross. He's a 14th century Jesuit. Anyway, Jimmy the Gent Burke, compared to Jimmy Conway, which, not even close. The best was the thick glasses. No. All right. You know what Scorsese would say? It's not a documentary. This is a movie. And the best is Ray Liotta? Ray Liotta as Henry Hill, this nebbishy, creepy Henry Hill? Ray Liotta? What are you talking about? I'm not doing a documentary. It's a movie. Yeah, but it's based on a real life. Based. Politics is based on reality. It's my version of it. It's what I see. When Ronald Reagan said, shiny city on the hill, a lot of folks said, what are you talking about? Where is this? What? Huh? Ever seen commercials on TV for Florida? Cracks me up. You ever see that? Florida. And there's the beach, and there's a guy playing golf. And, this is great. Uh-huh. Really? That's the way you see it? We're selling an ad. I'm not telling people the truth. Really? Yeah. Okay. So my friends, let me go back to what I'm saying. Politics. Politics. Now, there you know exactly what they're going to say. And what you do is, if you're a Republican, you look at what they're saying and understand it. Don't refute it like my friend says. No. You address it. You address it or ignore it. One of the two. What's the most important? What's the most important? And remember, who's the audience? Who is the audience? The audience is the undecided, independent, swing voter. That's the guy or the gal. That's the one. What would make them the most? What would I say? I'd say Republicans are crazy. These people are crazy. You want to say racist, you whatever it want. But that'd be one word. One word. Crazy. I would take and this is so interesting, because Sarah Huckabee Sanders would say, wait a minute, that's my line. Well, it might be your line, but I'm taking it. They're crazy. Absolutely nuts. Look at them. And I bring out Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Boebert, Trump. Look at these. What are they talking about? My God. All right? Forget you. How about that? How about that voter? How about that undecided voter? How about that swing? How about independent? You sure about this? And what I would do front and center, abortion. Front and center. And this would be my message to the independent, undecided voter. Nobody likes abortion. Nobody wants abortion. But nobody wants to ban it. And these crazy people want to ban it. That's it. It's done. I'm done. Now you refute it. And then I move on to the next one. Well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you, as a Republican, if you're a Republican, what are you going to do to the undecided, independent, swing Democratic vote? Or somebody who was maybe a Democrat who can be pulled. What are you going to say? Crime, children. Okay, give me a new angle. What are you going to say? What's your take? You're going to use maybe the crazy angle too. Go back to Democrats. They're going to say Republicans don't care anything about the environment. My friend, the environment. Would you stop that? Would you stop that? Doesn't matter. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you think. There are people right now who stay up at night. They can't think because they're worried about the environment. And you're laughing about that? You're just dismissing it because you know better? That's the problem. This hubristic know-it-all. This is politics. I'm not doing a documentary. I want a movie. I want to lure people. What am I going to say? What are we going to say? What are the issues? One thing which might be effective, if they can think this far, is, okay, let's assume we do go completely, and you could say this. Let's say let's go fully electric, the cars. Then put on a history, take the best script writers who are going to be very quiet, obviously, working behind the scenes, and put together some dystopian nightmare of what it would be like if there were no more gas stations and people had to charge their vehicles, how much it would cost, how much the vehicles would weigh, what would happen during flooding, what would happen during fires, what would it do to it. You've got to give somebody something where they say, wow. And then the tagline is, and if they're that wrong about your car, you want them to run the world? And then you show them pictures of China. Have you seen the Chinese military marching band? Or there's one particular marching band where they have the cornets and the flugelhorns. They look like they could attack you with their instruments. They are so precise, with a look of absolute, don't mess with me. And then you can show, here's the United States. Here's our military. Which, of course, is still fantastic. Somebody told me one time, somebody whom I really, really respect, they can say, you know what? You don't know what I know. This is somebody in the military, officer, whatever. He says, whatever you hear about the rank and file and they can't get the recruitment numbers because they're overweight or whatever it is, let me tell you something. You have no idea what we can do and the power that we have. All right? Believe me when I say this. So think about this. I want you to think about what are going to be the issues that are promoted. What are the Democrats going to say? What are the Republicans going to say? Get to the issues that really define. Remember, not the rank and file, not the people who are going to make up their mind, but somebody who's in the middle, somebody who's thinking. And you basically have to do one of two things. Number one, you always give them a vision. You always give them a vision. Ronald Reagan never mentioned the opposition. Never. He talked about himself. He talked about us. He talked about the country. He talked about the future. He talked about this. Talked about whatever. You, us, this. That always works because you want to feel good. You'll never see an ad. You'll never see an ad for Burger King that says McDonald's is terrible. Never. Never. And they've thought about it. You'll never see anything, buy the whatever this car because the other one is awful. Doesn't work like that. But if you live in this world of cable news and podcasting and some person sitting on his bed thinking he's a genius all of a sudden, that's all negative. It always works negative. And people love to laugh and troll and make fun of. That's not going to get you elected. If you think you're going to win making fun of Kamala Harris, you're wrong. And if they think the Democrats think they're going to win by making fun of, I don't know who, it's not going to win. That doesn't work. That doesn't stick with you. That doesn't stay with you. You got to give somebody something where they have a worldview, they have a vision, they have a thought, and a fear. Two things. I like these people, and even if I don't like them, I don't want to vote for those people because those people are going to get me killed or those people are crazy. And that's it. So ask yourself, what would you do? And if you can't honestly step back, and point to stuff, I don't know what to tell you. And believe me, as we speak, there are hours upon hours of some of the most insane moments on both sides that you could ever imagine. So there is a plethora. There is a plethora, an abundance on both sides of individuals who have things to say. But what's the good part? And here's the thing. And this is the hardest to understand. What the Democrats will do, they're smart. They won't say, vote for Biden because Biden will give you this. No, they'll say that, no, the Democrats will give you this. So it's Biden and the Democrats. What the Republicans do is they say, no, this is Trump will give you this. DeSantis will give you this. Nikki Haley will give you this. Mike Pence will give you this. Not vote Republican. Because there is continuity. There is no continuity. There is no baseline Republican position that they will guarantee you irrespective of the candidate. And unless and until that happens, you got big problems. All right, my friends, that's it. You have a great and a wonderful day. Listen to what I'm saying. Remember, stop reacting. Think. That's all I want to tell you. Also, don't forget, follow Mrs. L. Lynn's Warriors. Sign up for her YouTube channel. It's beautiful. And go to her Twitter handle, her Twitter address, at Lynns, LYNNS_warriors. And I'm at Lionel Media. Oh, and they're getting so upset with me about that. Because I speak the truth. I speak reality. See you tomorrow, my friends. Thank you so much for your kindness. Thank you so much for your generosity. Thank you so much for your love. To Raul Rodriguez and Chaotic Anarchy. Again, we thank you for that. It's a manual crepitation for you for supporting the cause and being not who you are, but what you appear to be. All right, my friends. See you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel, 8 a.m. Until then, remember, as we always end, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta.